Is it possible to go through life without taking any risks? Now, in today's video, I want to talk about how I'm starting to change my mindset on taking risks. So far in my life, I've been the kind of person not to avoid risk, but to try and decrease it and then possibly make a leap of faith, make a jump or anything like that. I've never really took any sort of massive risks, any jumps in my career where I'm kind of worried if it'll work out or not. And recently, probably over the last maybe 3 to 4 months, I'm starting to warm round to the idea of taking maybe bigger risks in my life because I feel like maybe that is where the rewards are. And so like I was saying then, I've pinpointed one part of my life where I probably could have took some risks, and that is in my career. So if I go back to when I was 16, straight out of school, or 15 when I left school, but 16 by the time my birthday rolled around, and I left school and I got my first job. In that job, obviously I was there while I started college, finished college, started university, I only went to university for a year. But cut long story short, I could have left that job, got another job. Did I take a risk there? Did I take a leap of faith there? No. Again, that's just a normal one. Now, the other bigger leap of risk that I wish I took now that I didn't, and if I go back to 2 years ago when I was running a different YouTube channel, FIFA YouTube channel, I got up to around about 80, 90,000 subscribers. I had an editor, I had a thumbnail designer, and things at the time, if I take the whole context out of it, just the YouTube channel itself, if I look back at it now, the views were starting to climb towards the end. I had a video reach 500,000 views. Every other video, some were getting 70k views, some were getting 50, 40. Cut a long story short, it was sort of on the way up, but it was towards the end of a 3-year thing that I was doing, where I was doing full-time work, YouTube, then YouTube's quality and standards started increasing, as we all know. You know, you can no longer just jump on like this, really. You can't really just jump on, make a video, jump off, loads of people watch it. It's all about watch time, retention, quality, captions, editing, thumbnails. You know, it's a completely different ballgame. But anyway, towards the end there, I had an editor and a thumbnail designer. Now, I was paying them. I could have, and looking back now, I wish I took the risk and left my full-time job to do that full-time. But at the time, I was too worried. I was like, I've got a full-time job. It's not like amazing pay, but just above minimum wage. Probably 50, 60p an hour above minimum wage. But that was my income. YouTube was a side income. And me making that jump was almost betting on myself. Not that I had any doubt on myself, because I know myself. If I get to work on something, I'll work, you know. It's not like I'm worried if I'll wake up on time and make a video. I would wake up and make double the videos to live that kind of life. But I think it's just, at the time I had that kind of worry that, what if this only works out for a year or two? What if it's not the future? And I wanted to kind of make a certain amount of income before making that jump, which some people would say that is very smart. And I think a lot of people who work a full-time job and have something on the side, they wait till the thing on the side either matches their income or surpasses it, and then they leave. But looking back now, I just wish I took the risk, because what's the worst that could have happened? I took the risk, tried it for a year, I had some money in savings, and if it didn't work out, I could have always gone back to that job or found another job similar and just worked my way up the ladder again. I think at the time I was 21, 22, 23 maybe, 21, around that age where I could have left my job and done it full time. And if it wasn't matching my same income, I was covering a good 70, 80% of it. So times like that in my life where I look back and I kind of regret not making the jump. But of course, other factors at play was that I had my own home, not long moved into my own home, bought that, relationships, children, family, you know, all these things come into account. Because imagine you was with someone and all of a sudden tomorrow they just said, right, I'm leaving my job and I might not make my full income, and you've got a house and bills and other responsibilities to pay for. It is quite daunting that someone could just do that. And I felt like that. If I was just to run and jump out of my job, what would my partner think? What would my family think? Not what would they think of me doing it, but again, if there's bills to pay and I've just run and jumped out of a job, and there's these things coming at me that I haven't thought about, haven't worried about, and I'm just going, oh, well, I'm living my dream life now, but I've got responsibilities. So looking back, I definitely wish I took that risk. But I just think in life, some of us can get a little bit too used to the idea of playing it safe. Like, even just for example, say you get given a piece of advice 5 years ago and you're still living to that piece of advice today, and you're not willing to chop and change, try something new, because this advice has worked for you for so long and it's working decently well, but you don't want to chop and change anything else. It's kind of like that. Change and taking risk do kind of go hand in hand. For example, say someone gave me a gym workout 5 years ago and they said, do this, and I'm still doing it today. And not there's anything wrong with that, but let's say there's other evidence out there, other information out there that would say this is better, but I'm unwilling to change, unwilling to try. I feel like I personally am starting to miss out on a few things by not taking extra risk. Now, of course, like I said, I've got a house, got a family. I can't just jump out of my full-time job tomorrow and go, I'm taking a risk, I'm going to start living my life. But I just mean starting to maybe take on some more uncomfortable things, starting to willingly open up to change and different options, because I feel like risk can be rewarding. But also, when you say if I was to take a risk and it didn't work out, I think I'd learn a lot. I think I'd learn a lot from taking a risk and making a jump. And who knows, with that past YouTube thing of mine, who knows if I would have left my full-time job, I could have been making triple my income, quadruple my income, because I had more time to spend on my side hustle. Well, wouldn't be my side hustle anymore, it would be my full-time job. But I had all that more time to spend on it, enjoy it, and I wouldn't have the stress of a full-time job and all this kind of thing. So sometimes you've got to obviously look at the positives as always, instead of looking at the negatives all the time. But I just think, in general, I want to start taking some more risks in my life. Obviously not risks that's going to possibly drain all my money tomorrow and start worrying about paying bills. But I just mean in terms of the risks of like, I don't even know. I just like, again, when you talk of a risk, it's got to be something that's like, how do I word this properly? It's got to be risky. But I'm just talking about things like not too dramatic, just a little bit where it maybe shakes you up a little bit, you're a little bit shook, and you're a little bit like, what do I do here? But not to the point where suddenly I'm getting evicted out of my home, got to take my car away, that kind of stuff. I think recently I'm starting to get a little bit tired of playing it safe, a little bit tired of playing it, overthinking it, thinking, is this the right move? That I'm just getting a little bit tired of all that. And I think a lot of people are sick of playing it the tired way, and not the tired way, but the smart way, and trying to think of every outcome and is this the right thing and whereas I think some of us would benefit from just taking that risk. Does it work? Yes or no? Yes, okay, carry on. No, okay, back to square one, we start again. I'm starting to open up to the idea of failure and trying. I want to try new things, and if I was to fail, so what? I need to get into that mindset of so what if I fail. Say tomorrow I was to try, let's just say a sport, that new sport that everyone's done about, paddle. Say I was to try that tomorrow. No good. Rubbish. Everybody laughs. Whatever. So what? I've tried it. Next week's tennis. Next week's badminton. Next week's basketball. Whatever. In terms of a business, why can't I try 10 businesses in a year? Fail at all of them. I'm starting to open up to the idea of that. Whereas in the past, I would overthink my way out of all of them, avoid them, too risky. Maybe not even risky, but just not worth the time. I could spend my time on that. Don't want to risk spending my free time doing that, or don't want to spend my free time doing this. And I think just open up my idea to failure, and just open up my idea to trying something new, taking the risk, taking the chance, taking the change, and just going, you know what, this is what life is supposed to be about. Because for so long I've tried to play the safe option, and I'm starting to get to the point now where I don't think anything will change unless I'm willing to let a bit of risk come my way.